All right, let's talk about a movie called What Keeps You Alive, which, as far as I'm aware, is only available to rent on YouTube. Rebecca Reinhardt actually rented this, and she was nice enough to let me borrow her account so that I didn't have to. I guess that's as close as I get to stealing movies right there. There's as close as I'll get to torrenting. But ideally, we would have just watched this together, but because we couldn't, I don't see the huge difference, but I thought I'd come clean about my wicked ways. All right, so now Eleanor from Jigsaw, actress named Hannah Emily Anderson, she was also in the Purge TV show that I watched right after this movie. So it's funny to see these back to back. And Carly from Jigsaw as well, the chick. I don't know if you've seen the Jigsaw yet. If you haven't, I don't want to spoil anything for you. But she's in it as well, so I won't say. But her name's Carly in the movie. But she's also in another zombie movie, or not in another zombie movie, yeah, in another horror movie, a zombie movie that is called It Stains the Sands Red. Now, I know a lot of people did not like that movie, and I completely understand that. But I actually really dug that movie because I thought it was a completely unique spin on a extremely tired subgenre of horror. So I dug it. I liked the concepts. I liked the stuff. Yes, there was some cheesy stuff. There was this and that, blah, blah, blah. But I dug it. So it's cool to see her because we got some now horror alums with both of these ladies. We also got the chick from Superbad in here. No, not Emma Stone, obviously. But the other, her friend in that movie. Can't remember her name in that movie. Doesn't really matter. But her name in this is Sarah. Now, we have Jackie and Julie, and they are a fairly recently married couple, and they're going up to Jackie's parents' getaway, like, house in the woods. I wouldn't call it a cabin. This thing's a fucking mansion, man. Her parents definitely had some money. Beautiful locations. I mean, the shots that we have in this movie of the wilderness and whatnot, they have this beautiful shot of the lake and the trees. I am a big fan of scenery like that personally. Like, it's funny, I live in a desert. I live in an area which is actually claimed to be like one of the most beautiful places on earth, and it's the desert, and I just think the desert is not attractive in the slightest. So I always laugh when I walk around. I am much more into, like, waterfalls are the most beautiful thing in the world to me besides women. And I love, like, trees and a lake and all. That's just beautiful. And so in this movie, we get a lot of those shots, and I adore it. So I don't want to say a ton about the movie because I feel like if I talk about it at all past that it'll be spoiler territory. So I will give you my thoughts first, and then I will talk spoilers. So as far as the movie goes, I don't know. I'm very 50-50 with it. I think this movie will annoy the fuck out of most people. Like, not most people. Most people I know, should I say. A lot of people. And it's what annoyed me. It's what was a 50-50. What made me like the movie was the performances from the actresses. The character decisions of one of these characters is what annoyed me to no end. And I think that there will be a lot of people that just will be screaming at the television. And I was one of them. I was sitting there like, God, no. And yes, I am always that person that's like, you never know how you're going to react in these situations, and you never, like, so shut the fuck up. But there are some things that I can undoubtedly tell you that not only I, but anyone else that I'm aware of would ever do, ever. So those things in film are extremely frustrating to me. And they really take the enjoyment out of the film. Because I feel like when the realism of a realistic situation. I mean, when we're in unrealistic situations, I think you can play around with it a little bit more. But in realistic, serious films, you need realistic, serious reactions and choices. And when they're not there, it's annoying. So I definitely think that this is more geared towards women. I would recommend it to. I don't know. That's tough, though. I'm gonna have to say I won't recommend this, but I know Rebecca really enjoyed the shit out of it. So I'm a guy and she's a girl. So the one person I know who's seen it that was a guy wasn't big on it, and she's a woman. And I'm not trying to say it's anything to do with our sex, but I'm guessing I'm using that as an example there. It's not a good example, but it kind of has some female empowerment moments and whatnot, and I think that might work for a woman, but at the same time, I feel like it's fucking insulting to women, to anybody. So I liked a good amount of it, but the things that pissed me off too much to give it a recommendation to anybody, especially with it being $7 right now to rent. If you're going to rent it or if you're going to watch it, I'd wait for it to come to Netflix or Redbox or when it drops in price considerably. But let's get into spoilers now. Let's take this into the spoiler territory. So just so you know, here we go. So this opens with Silverchair, which is fucking awesome. Okay, anthem for the year 2000. I was a huge Silverchair fan when I was in high school. Frog Stomp and Freak Show and freaking Neon Ballroom and now I'm gonna blank, really. Diorama, there you go. Those were big albums to me. So to hear Anthem off of Neon Ballroom here was awesome. And then they played it later in the movie when she's calling Jackie back. She like blasts it out the windows. And that's a really cool shot. And that's one of the parts that I did like about the movie. But the choices she made before that, So this girl comes over, Sarah, when they're there, and we find out that Jackie's real name is not Jackie, which of course is Julie's first indication that she is not being completely transparent with her. Then later, she finds out from Sarah yet again. Sarah's the instigator, the troublemaker, although she's actually helping Julie out a little bit here because Jackie was just going to kill her without her even knowing that there was anything going wrong. So Sarah's actually helping her out. So Sarah tells her that their friend died when they were a kid and that it was a huge deal to her, and the fact that she hasn't mentioned it to her yet is very, very odd to her, of course. And so she's even more like, what the hell, do I even know you at all? Which I completely understand. And this movie had me at this point all the way. Then they go out and she gives her the necklace and they're praising it, and then she goes and she stands on this rock and she's like, look how beautiful, it's such a beautiful shot. And then Jackie just runs at her screaming and pushes her over onto the rock to kill her. And this goes to the mindset of Jackie here, because she marries this woman, right? And she says she had a wife previously, but this is only the second person she ever married. When she finds that box of like lockets later in the film that are hidden behind the black bear head, the story she tells of killing the black bear and eating all of it, which I can't imagine a family actually ate an entire black bear in 1 month. But what I find interesting about that is that she actually married this chick, right? So she must have liked her a little bit more, but when she asks her, did you love me? She says, no, I didn't love you. And she's not like, she's getting off on the fact that she's betraying these people's trust more than the act of murder itself. Because the murder in this film is not torturous, right? It's just deceptive. And because the original intention, the movie wasn't the story that we were supposed to see. If Jackie's plan went correct, the way that she wanted it to, she pushes her off the cliff in that one quick instant, boom, and she's dead. She practices in the mirror really cold-bloodedly, like pretending to try to be like, oh my God, my wife, whatever. Which I'm guessing is nothing like the previous girls that she killed, because she couldn't have had fatal accidents on all of her girlfriends. That would, of course, eventually become suspect. After one, it would become suspect. So she brought her out there, which I'm guessing this is where she does all of her killing, because she has all the necklaces there. She could do them anywhere and bring the necklaces there, but I have to guess that she brings these girls out there to kill them. But this was different because she married this girl. And as I said, she pushed her, but not because she wanted to relish in her misery and her pain and her suffering and her death. This was quick. This was, she wanted to shove her and take her life from her. Now, there's a lot of ways you could analyze this. I'm not going to try to sit here and analyze all of them by any means. But I thought that that was one of the most striking aspects of the mentality of this killer. And another thing that I applaud this film for is not the inclusion of the obvious killer tropes of the past, where when she asks her about her parents, like, did your dad fuck you or something? You know, like everyone wants that. They want an explanation. They want an easy, wrapped up in a bow explanation. Oh, her parents were terrible and they beat her and this is what made her who she is. And she's like, no, my parents were amazing. It's something I had talked about with the Halloween remake that Rob Zombie did. Even though I enjoy the film, I think it would have been better if Michael came from a great family, because it's so much harder to swallow when these kids come from wonderful upbringings and they're still monsters. And as she says in this, it was nature, not nurture. Because a lot of people are always like, nah, it's always nurture. It's always the parents. Something went wrong. No, nothing went wrong. This is like a Macaulay Culkin, the good son, the bad seed, whatever the hell. We need to talk about Kevin. There are people that just are born fucking evil. Like, I'm not advocating for a religious side of evil. I just mean that they want to kill. They have this predisposition that they want to kill. And yes, there are societal and other factors that come in that bring them to kill eventually. Something like a perfect storm is there, and then you have these events that take place that kind of bring it out of them. But then there's just some people who fucking are not right from the beginning. And this is a very interesting character for me on that level. Now, where my problems all come from is from Julie. Julie's character decisions in this fucking movie drove me insane. There's so many moments that I was just furious with what was going on with Julie. There's so many times where she could have at least tried to save herself, or not let herself be so easily killed. Or I get it, she's scared. I get it, she's dealing with a lot. She's just been betrayed by who she thinks is the love of her life. She's dealing with a head injury. She's dealing with trauma, both physically and mentally, as I had already stated. I get all those factors. I really do. But I don't feel like it excuses some of the behavior and decisions in this situation, in this film. I do love the scene where I think I loved everything with Jackie. Like, I really enjoyed Jackie as a whole. I don't really feel like I had any issues with her character, because her character is insane, and I completely understand where she's coming from in all of it. which I guess makes me sound like I'm a fucking lunatic. I can get with what the killer's doing, but with the heroine here, the victim, fuck her. No, that's not what I'm saying. I feel she's more realistic. But I do like when Julie, I have to keep looking at my notes because it's Jackie Julie, to see what name is which. But I do like when Julie's out there in the woods and she's crawled away from falling down. Reminded me of Revenge, where the guy just pushes the girl. If you haven't seen Revenge, I apologize for spoilers here. But if you have seen Revenge, the guy pushes her off and then she crawls away when they come back to look for the body. So that scene was very reminiscent of that. But she's crawled away and she survived the night. And when... no, I think this actually happens before the night. Yeah, I think it does. It does. She comes out and she sees her calling for her, and she's like, honey, I'm so sorry. I'm so, like, I don't know what happened, and this and that. And Julie actually looks up like, maybe this is true. Maybe, I mean, you could go a lot of different ways with that in your mind in that moment, especially if you have a head injury. Like, do I remember what happened correctly? You know, I've just gotten my head hit really hard. But at the same time, like, you could also think, like, maybe she was running at me to play a trick, and then she stumbled and she knocked me over. Like, she was going to run at me as a joke, and then it went too far and she hit me and I fell. Or, there's a lot of different things your mind could go through in that moment. And this is a person you're in love with. This is supposed to be her love, right? So it's not far outside of the realm of reality that she might believe that this was an accident. But then she looks up, and before, I'm looking down again, Jackie, she gives up on it. She's like crying, oh, she's doing the trick, the tack, I can't remember what they call it in Thoroughbreds. Anyway, Olivia Cook's character is trying to teach Anya Taylor-Joy's the technique, that's what it is, I think. But anyway, she's performing the technique, we'll call it that, and she's crying. Oh, that's my best technique right there. Great acting on my part. And then she just turns it off, man, and then just straight face, and she's like, "Fuck!" And that's when it hits Julie. Yeah, I look down again. It hits Julie that, oh my God, she did mean to do this. She was just faking this, and the person I knew doesn't exist. Like, this is a monster. I loved all that stuff. So I loved everything up until this point. I thought this was great. I was really happy with Rebecca. I also like the part where she sees that Jackie is out there and she has the gun, and Julie's trying to tell her, like, your form's all wrong and this and that, even though Julie just missed like 3 shots in a row. Then Jackie just grabbed the gun and she just walks forward, like, so fast, like, it scares the shit out of her, like it should, because this chick's a crack shot, although she can't hit her on the boat like, and like a day later, but all of a sudden she can't miss. Although I would guess darts probably shoot different than bullets. They can't shoot anywhere near as fast, so the accuracy on these and the range and all that has to be way off. So who knows? I don't know. I haven't shot both to find out. And the boat chase is fairly intense, and then she invites, that guy calls out from across, Sarah's husband, and he calls and is like, what about dinner? And she's like, how about tonight? Which she would have probably killed her right there on the spot, but that guy's too far away to do anything. I feel like that was a good chance for her. Like, there's a lot of different ways she could have taken her down there. I think the moral of this movie, as I said to Rebecca, is learn self-defense, okay? Go out and take some self-defense courses. Most people have no idea how to fight at all. Like, I'd say 95% of people have zero idea how to fight or defend themselves at all. So all you have to do is learn a few really, really good moves to get away from somebody, to incapacitate them, for you to get away. I mean, I would go a little step further and find a way to maim them, or kill them, break something on them. That's not that much more difficult. It's actually scary when you take like ninjutsu or something. It gets very scary on how how easy it is to kill somebody or maim them. It's really scary. That's actually why I stopped going to ninjutsu classes, because I was like, man, I'm gonna convince I'm gonna get all this muscle memory. Someone's gonna like come up behind me to scare me, and I'm gonna break their neck. So I'm just not gonna do this anymore. But I think I got enough out of it to protect myself in a situation like this. We'll see. Hopefully not. And here's a weird thing. I don't know what this was all about, but Jackie has Julie in the tub, right? And we get to see her thrashing around in the bathtub, and from above you can tell it is that actress who's playing this character, and we can see her tits clear as day, like right there. Rebecca, there are boobs in this movie, and we get to see them. But then in the close-up shots, she is so like clearly, like they didn't even try to hide it, like she is wearing flesh-colored pasties over her tits in the bathtub. Weird. It wasn't a body double. So why show your tits in one scene and then wear pasties on there? Was it like a different day? Did you not want, like, that was really weird. Yes, okay, I focused that much on boob shots. All right, so there's some proof right there, Rebecca, that I am way more into boobs than the other person that you had mentioned. Okay, way more into boobs. No one's more into boobs than me. How dare you? Let's see here. The dinner party pissed me off. That was probably the first place where I started to completely lose my respect for Julie's character here. She goes and decides to whisper into this Sarah chick's ear what's going on when she knows Jackie's standing right outside with a window that's looking right at them, and she keeps looking in on her, and she doesn't think like she's gonna be like, oh my god, why is she whispering to her? That was so fucking stupid and unbelievable. I couldn't handle it. So that pissed me off. That was like the first thing that really irritated the shit out of me. So wouldn't it have been a better idea to just bring it up right there at the dinner table, scream it out, like push the table into her, grab the knife that's sitting right there in the middle of the table and jump across and fucking stab her? Like, there's so many different ways she could have done that, and she picked the dumbest way possible. She's separated by a door. This guy's out there with her. Like, tell the guy first, okay? Like, he's probably going to have a better time taking her on than the wife. But what? God, that part pissed me off. That was insulting. And I'm serious. I fucking hated that moment. Like, you just got these two people killed. It is your fucking fault. Okay? Why would you get up and whisper into her ear when she can see it? That is so dumb. She could have just put her head down and said it like a little louder so that girl could have heard her without walking over and making it so obvious. But at the same time, she could have done it when she gave her a hug earlier in the movie. She shouldn't have done that anyway. She should have attacked the girl herself before they even got there. Or just fucking screamed out. As I said, push the table forward. She's a fucking psycho. Let's get out of here. Whatever. Kill her. Hold her down. Whatever. I just disagree with that scene so much. It's insane. I love when she kills Sarah and she tells her Jenny fought harder than you. Oh man, that's fucked up. The little girl that died when they were kids. And then she comes in the room and she takes her fingers and she puts it on her heartbeat and she's like, you feel that? And her heart is completely calm. She's completely calm, murdering these people in front of her. Very Hannibal Lecter when they talk about how he attacked a guard and bit his face off, bit his nose off or something, and said his heartbeat never elevated above like 70 beats a minute or something. Like, he's just so calm and collected while he's murdering people. I thought, as I said, I love Jackie. As horrible as that sounds, much better. I also love that she cleans up with a black light. So that, just on a very quick inspection with a black light, that there would be nothing to look for forensics investigators. Now, of course, they would spray luminol, which would bring all of that shit to the surface. Although if you poured bleach on it, it would not be able to be tested. You learn that in Boondock Saints. But they probably pull up the floorboards and get some shit out of wherever. I mean, you're not getting away with nothing anymore if CSI comes in and knows that a murder took place there. All right, I gotta wrap this up. Let's go. Dream fake out where she gets on top of her and stabs her through the chest. Stupid as shit. I hate dream fake outs. And the whole do this or I'll kill you thing, like eat this food or it's like, you're gonna kill me anyways. So what the fucking point? And then she's like, I'm gonna drag you out there and push you off of the same place that we were before. No, you are not. Like, I'll just not walk. Fuck you. You know, like, she walks out there, and I get it, she's trying to buy herself more time. She wants to be alive longer. Maybe she'll get out, and maybe someone will find her, whatever. But then she's in the car with her, and she grabs and she sticks her in the neck with this thing. And then, God, this is where the whole movie gets so stupid. She sticks her in the neck. The chick blacks out right there in front of her. She has the ability to kill her right there and then. Doesn't take it, runs off. Okay, fine, she runs off. She wants the cops to deal with it, whatever. But then she decides to go back. And I was actually liking that part for a moment because I was like, all right, she'll go back, she'll kill her. Like, I'm so happy she's decided to do this. Nope. She goes back and the girl's missing. So what does she do? She just goes and gets back in the car, and instead of just leaving again, she decides to go try to hunt this girl. This girl dude's clearly going to best her in combat. This girl who knows these woods like the back of her hand. She knows how to fire a gun like a fucking sniper. Like, why would you go back? And then she like lures her back to the house, giving away her position and all these stupid decisions. And then she has her dead to rights, and she doesn't pull the trigger. She lets her get on her knees. Then she lets her confuse her about that this thing might backfire because it's an antique. Then they take it away. And then she goes over and lets her, goes over to the freaking cliff again, or, knocks her out, should I say. And then she takes her to the cliff, and she pushes her off the cliff and kills her. At least I think. It looked like she was breathing at the end, kind of, but that might just be the actress not being able to not breathe. But then she goes and she looks on the video, and she sees that the laptop is propped up, and she's diabetic, so she takes her diabetic shot, her insulin shot, and then she checks the computer. And this is where the revenge comes in. If you're watching this video, I'm dead, but I have an insurance policy, which she actually titles it Insurance Policy. And she checks the fucking video, telling her exactly what she did. Like, I put hydrogen peroxide in your thing, and you're gonna have blood clots, and they're gonna kill you. This is so dumb. This is so fucking dumb. This is movie bullshit. That's what this is. This is, I know how things are gonna go, so I'm gonna do them because this is a movie. What if she opened up that video before? Thanks for telling me your plan. You're dead and you're a dumbass. Leave it right next to the insulin? Like, that is so stupid. That is so fucking stupid. I'm sorry I know a lot of people probably will have watched that and been like, oh, she got her back. Like, she got her vengeance. Like, why would she even set that up in the first place? Like, because it's her insurance in case she kills her. Okay, I guess. But why leave a video? Spike her insulin. Absolutely, that's smart. Yeah, put hydrogen peroxide in there. Fuck her. Like, absolutely. Leaving her a video telling her what you're doing, that's like a Bond villain mistake. It is so dumb. It's angering. So that shit, I don't know. I'm glad she died. I'm glad she's dead. I'm glad she's dead. All right. So there you go. And as she's running through the woods, she sees herself killing that black bear. Blah, blah, blah. I'm done. 30 minutes. I did not want to talk about this movie for 30 fucking minutes. All right, Rebecca. Thank you for letting me watch this on your money, though. If you recommended this to me and I had to pay $7 for it, I probably wouldn't have been happy. So, anyways, all right.